In today's video, I am going to be breaking down the infamous buzzword decluttering that is so talked about in today's cleaning and organizing space. Let's take a deep dive into what it really means, the root causes of clutter, and tools to achieve a clean and functional space. Decluttering isn't as simple as removing items from and organizing a space. Yes, that is part of it, but it's also important to reflect on why the area became cluttered in the first place so that you can formulate a plan of prevention. This is the first in a series of videos on decluttering. In this series, I will be covering the effects of clutter on physical and mental health. I will also be discussing varying types of clutter. For example, is your clutter the result of your busy lifestyle? Have you had a temporary life disruption, such as sickness or a move? Or are there unresolved psychological issues at play? Let's peel back the layers together to better understand the whys of our clutter and the role our surroundings play in our physical and mental health. Once we have a better understanding about the issues and causes behind our clutter, the decluttering process has a much better chance at success. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos in this series going forward. Let's talk about different types of clutter and how it affects our physical and mental health. Let's start with visual clutter. Visual clutter is an overabundance of visual stimuli, whether it be knickknacks, paperwork, boxes, etc. These unnecessary visual distractions create stress on our senses, impede focus, and can remind us of tasks we have not finished, causing feelings of guilt and shame. There is also hidden clutter, a closet or junk drawer, maybe even under the bed, where we shove items to deal with later and never do. That clutter building up is our monster in the closet, and even though our guests don't know it's there, we do. This causes undue anxiety. We know it needs to be organized, but haven't gotten to it. And because it is hidden, we put off organizing those areas even longer. It can also cause excess frustration when we can't find that pair of shoes or jacket that got sucked into another dimension. Clutter can also be intangible, such as mental and emotional clutter. Examples of this are negative thoughts, such as I'm not good enough and I'll never get this done, unrealistic expectations, feelings of guilt, shame, and fear, and unresolved trauma. It can also consist of things we are trying to remember, such as appointments, schedules, or bills due. All of these negative thoughts and emotions take up space in our mind, resulting in anxiety, depression, loss of sleep, and focus, and severely affect our quality of life. Another form of intangible clutter is digital clutter. It has replaced what used to be all paper clutter. Examples of this can include unnecessary emails and text messages, computer files, duplicate photos, unused apps, and software programs. Digital clutter not only slows down your devices, but you as well. So much time can be wasted searching through digital clutter and can cause just as much stress and anxiety as physical clutter. Studies have shown that clutter, whether tangible or intangible, can have negative effects on our physical and mental health, causing confusion, increased levels of cortisol, especially in women, along with feelings of isolation and depression. It can be a safety concern, creating risks of falls or fire. Studies have also shown reducing visual clutter can help those suffering from Alzheimer's. Since their memory and perception is compromised, less clutter makes it easier for them to function in their surroundings. These are just a few of the mental and physical effects of clutter, which outline the importance of creating a strategy to clear it. In order to create a plan to clear the clutter, we first and foremost need to make a commitment to ourselves to identify the reasons behind it. It is only then we begin to gain control of our stuff instead of our stuff controlling us. Clutter is most often a symptom of a bigger problem, and if we make attempts to clear the mess without repairing the underlying issues, we are setting ourselves up for failure. There are a range of reasons we struggle with clutter. Some may be as simple as a hectic lifestyle or as serious as addiction. Let's talk about what studies show are the most common issues behind clutter. The clutter, depression, anxiety cycle. One thing feeds the other. Clutter creates anxiety and depression, and anxiety and depression can create clutter. Well, that's a frustrating hole to be stuck in, and I'm sure we've all battled with this at one point in our lives. This perpetual cycle of crap, as I call it, can seem impossible to break free from, but it can be done. Because we most often feel overwhelmed when stuck in this cycle, small steps are important and professional help is encouraged. I will be deep diving into the clutter and depression cycle in a subsequent video, so definitely make sure to subscribe and share this video to anyone who might benefit from this series. Another common issue behind clutter can be an unhealthy attachment to the past, which can cause us to create anchors that trap us there and hold us back from our future. Letting go can be frightening to say the least, but letting go doesn't mean forgetting those happy memories or our loved ones. It means freeing ourselves to create a healthy future. ADHD is a disorder that can go hand in hand with clutter. Difficulty focusing and the ability to complete tasks are commonly associated with ADHD. Just like the clutter, depression, and anxiety cycle, ADHD contributes to clutter, and clutter can heighten the symptoms of ADHD. Addiction can also play a role in clutter. For some, shopping creates a rush of dopamine to the brain, also known as the happy chemical, and can become addicting. This can not only lead to financial problems, but also a lot of things piling up. It is common for people with this addiction to not even wear or open the item they've purchased, as it's the excitement of the hunt and purchase that brings the satisfaction. In some cases, people who have suffered abuse or trauma may create a wall of clutter as a form of protection or safety. This coping mechanism may help them feel safe from the outside world, but isolated at the same time. This inevitably adds to the already unresolved issues and keeps them trapped in their cycle of trauma. Now that we've touched on some of the reasons behind clutter, let's talk about some of the solutions to break through the mess. First and foremost, identify the reasons behind your clutter. Don't be afraid to reach out to a professional for help in healing what's going on the inside so you can clean up the outside. If you are ready to start the cleanup process and feeling overwhelmed, remember to start small. Choose one small place to start. I recommend starting with visual clutter so you can see the fruits of your labor whenever you walk into that room. I also recommend choosing an area within an area. For example, a bookcase within the family room or a corner of the bedroom. You will feel a sense of accomplishment without the pressure of taking on the entire house or an entire room. Moving forward as time permits, move on to another area within an area, and before you know it, an entire room will be cleared. Once you have cleared a space, it is important to have a system in place to prevent the clutter from coming back. I have a 3-part system I will touch on and then take a deeper dive in another video. Number 1, containment. Every item needs a home within our home. I believe it's important to keep like items together within the area they are most often used. For example, if your child plays with certain toys most often in the living room, then it makes more sense to keep those toys in the living room in a basket or bin that makes cleanup easy. If those toys are kept in the bedroom, then that creates an extra step for cleanup, which can lead to the toys staying strewn about the living room. If you have backpacks, jackets, shoes, etc., that end up on the kitchen table, the floor, or the sofa, try some hooks in the entryway and maybe a rack or bin for the shoes. If your kitchen counters are littered with paperwork, pens, chargers, and keys, try a desktop organizer on the counter with a few hooks above it for the keys and keep it in one corner of the kitchen so it all stays together and the items can be easily found. Number 2, time management. It's important to set aside time to keep up on your new clutter-free lifestyle. Schedule some time to go through the desktop organizer in the kitchen and get rid of paperwork that's no longer needed, gum wrappers, pens that ran out of ink, etc. Remove broken or unused toys from bins. Go around and take items that are laying on the counters or tabletops and put them in their proper place. Sit down for a few minutes and clear out spam emails or duplicate photos. Do a brain dump before bed and write down everything you are worried about or need to get done this week. Putting pen to paper is very therapeutic and helps organize our thoughts. 15 minutes once a day or 30 minutes once a week could be all it takes to stay on top of things. I personally like to do a quick pickup every morning, and once a month, I try to take some time to remove items no longer used, needed, or broken. While you are getting used to maintaining this new lifestyle, try putting reminders in your phone or set an alarm to remind you to stop and take 15 minutes to do some clutter maintenance. Time management is vital in maintaining all the work you put into clearing the clutter. Number 3, if something goes in, something goes out. This is another important step to maintain a clutter-free home. For example, recently I had a birthday party for my mom and wanted all white dinner plates and salad bowls. I had a lot of mismatched plates and bowls, so once I bought the new set, I donated all the mismatched dinnerware. If you buy a new outfit or pair of shoes, donate an old one. Teach your kids if they receive a new toy, they need to donate a toy. This keeps everything fluid and prevents those clutter walls going up again. Giving away something to someone else when you bring in something for yourself creates some balance and that good feeling of helping others. I read a beautiful quote recently by Julia Ubanga that said, as you declutter, instead of asking yourself, what if I need this someday? Ask, what if someone else needs it more than I do? Decluttering is not a one and done situation. It is a new way of living that requires taking steps to maintain your clutter-free environment. These are just a few examples of solutions to the clutter cycle. I will be doing a deeper dive into practical ways to staying clutter-free in another video. I just scratched the surface today on decluttering. It's like an onion with several layers that need to be peeled back. Until you work through the underlying issues behind the clutter, you can make attempts to clear things out, but it will find its way back into your home. Remember, every day given to us is a gift and a chance to start over. It's not about beating ourselves up, but picking ourselves up and taking our control back. Again, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any future videos in this series. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting decluttering content there pretty much daily or in between videos. And you'll get behind the scenes content as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. We live it like this could be a